cool. Here they come.
Woohoo!
Hello.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite country to teach in the Comp Gov course?
Iran, because it's the one that the kids know the least about, but it's also the one that the AP Comp Gov teachers know the least about too, because there's not a lot of truth out there. So it's but it's mystical in that sense, not the best sense, but Iran fascinates me.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
My uncle is from Iran. His family's from Iran. So
really?
I've grown up knowing some of the stories around, they all came in the 70s and anyways.
Okay. I'm guessing they came about 78, 79.
Yeah, just about then. Yeah. It's a story of Jewish refugees from Iran after the revolution. Which is a pretty fascinating story.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll kick this off. Welcome, y'all. We're doing open house for AP Comparative Government. So if you're signed up for the course, or you're thinking about taking the class, you are in the right place. Or if you just want to learn about Comp Gov and see what it's all about. So to give you a quick overview, my name is Amanda. I'm the founder of Fiveable. I'm based here in Milwaukee. I literally live at Fiveable HQ, where about half the team lives. I used to be a teacher. I taught AP World and AP Human Geography in Oakland. Love the histories and the social sciences. And honestly, my school was trying to get comparative government added, and I just didn't get a chance to do it before I had decided to leave the school. But ultimately, I think, just to give you just a little bit of background on Fiveable too, a lot of what we've built here is really about creating a space for students so that you don't have to spend as much time kind of fending for yourself and figuring out how to, find the resources you need and fill the gaps that school has inevitably created. Nothing seems to be enough. And so the AP classes in particular, it's an opportunity for you to get college credit. It's a big thing. And to get that challenge, to make it so that you can take a class that is super hard, but you have the opportunity to do it and to succeed in it. And that we want to build that confidence in you more than anything. Your AP scores matter. And that's something that we are trying to get you the highest score that you can. But in the end, it's so much more about the connections you make to the content, the real world applications that you find, the confidence that you build in taking these classes. That's what we all remember about, high school. I don't know what grades I got or any of that stuff. But I remember liking history and finding a connection in it and wanting to do more about that. And so that's how Fiveable got started. And the courses in particular are something that students themselves helped us to create this summer, just around really needing more supports and wanting to do remote learning in a way that is more interactive. So that's a long way of saying this is going to be a baller semester, and we are super excited to have you here with us. If you are not yet signed up for the course, or you would like to be, or you have a friend that wants to be, or you have a different course you want to sign up for, you can use the code OH10 and it will take $10 off. And that code is good for the week. So if you have folks you want to share it with, please do. The more the merrier. All of the courses that, are, as students sign up, it's really about supporting the teachers that are building this and creating all that content for you. So if you need me for anything, I'm in the Slack channel. You can always feel free to, DM me anything that comes up. But Kate is your best go-to person when it comes to courses, and she will introduce herself and then introduce Sean, and we'll talk all about what is comparative government and how it's going to work at Fiveable so that you are ready to go. Woo!
Woohoo! I'm letting one more person just showed up, and I'm letting them in before we kick it off.
Yeah, get in here.
Get in here.
George.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kate Levin. I'm head of instruction at Fiveable. I'm going to put my email right in the chat for you so that if you have any questions about anything about courses, if we don't answer your question here for whatever reason, or if you think of a question later, please feel free to shoot me an email and I'm happy to get those questions answered. I'm super excited about Comp Gov because this is a class that a lot of high schools actually don't offer. And so this is a class that a lot of kids self-study actually, and then take the test so that they can get credit for college. It's also a great class to take if you're interested in current events, global history, politics around the world. There's like tons of different intersections in this one course. So I'm really excited to hand it over to Sean, who is a bit of a master teacher in Comp Gov. He knows all the Comp Gov teachers, and he's going to tell you all about what this course looks like, the information that is contained in it, and what you can expect from this course at Fiveable. So Sean, go ahead.
Great, thank you very much. Hi, my name is Sean. I teach in New York City in one of the smallest schools you can possibly imagine in the smallest borough, but it's a good gig. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Yeah, so as Kate said, I am the founder of the largest AP Comp Gov teacher group. So there's 1,100 of us that talk daily. We Zoom like 4 times a week. We Zoomed all summer long. We're really obsessed with this topic. It's so fascinating. I hope you take it because it really is fascinating. Outside of that, I came to this meeting a little bit late because I was listening to a vinyl record because I am a vinyl. Like I just listen to so much vinyl music. It's bad. Shoes, I have more shoes than you could possibly imagine. There's somebody in here right now who could attest to that. And I love current events. I'm not telling you to follow me on Twitter, but if you were to follow me on Twitter, all it is me retweeting the news over and over and over again. And not like opinion stuff, but it's like breaking news, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of who I am. I am not 3 years old, as the picture may tell you. I'm a little bit older than 3. So I've taught this is my 13th year. Obviously this crazy year makes sense that it's my 13th year. You know, I think that's my fault. Sorry about that. I've taught AP Comp Gov for 7 years because I was fascinated with all these countries and I thought, I want to learn that myself. And all of a sudden just got into it and just loved it. I've taught AP US for 11 years now. Human Geography, I taught for 2, US, I taught for 1, and I've taught Gov Echo for the entire time. I also, outside of this, I spend most of my time on Zoom talking to kids around the world, teaching them English as a second language. So the world is something that I'm fascinated with, and understanding the rest of the world is something that I truly do enjoy. So my experience with going remote, it was fascinating because as soon as we went remote, I said, oh, I'm going to make this different. And we met with, no joke, 9 current members of the Parliament of the United Kingdom. And I am working on doing that again this year, both semesters, to get people from, who are actually members of Parliament that we study, so we could talk to them from every party, from every part of the UK. We had somebody from the Iranian government who emails me all the time, and the Iranian government's not really a friend of the US. So when he emails me, I check my door. I'm just kind of a little concerned sometimes. We had somebody from the Mexican Senate, and then we had somebody translating her the entire time. And then we had all these other people that represent things that we talk about in the school. So my time going remote, I thought it was fascinating. I learned so much. And we opened it up to students from around the country. And anybody who had the link could come. So if your teacher knew me, and like I said, 1,100 teachers know me, they could come. So this is a semester-based class. We talk about the United Kingdom. We talk about Russia, China, Nigeria, Iran, and Mexico. And there's TAs, just teachers' assistants, kind of like what they do in college. No prerequisites. And as Kate and I believe Amanda said prior, this isn't a class that's offered at most high schools, which is so, that needs to change. That's something I'm working on too. And Fiveable is going to try and help us all out with that. So maybe you are taking it at your school and this is supplemental, but probably you just want this class. There's going to be a 1-hour live session, tons of resources from Fiveable, office hours, chat with your peers. You can chat with me all you want. Like I said, I live and breathe this stuff. It is quite a thing. This is kind of what we'd be looking at each week. We'd be going through what's called the CED, which is the CED. I forget what that stands for, but it basically outlines which way you go into. And then eventually I'm somebody who teaches country by country. So we'd spend, a week or 2 talking about the UK, just talking about the UK. And bringing it back to all the different aspects of, politics in there. One of the fascinating things about this class, this isn't a history class. This is the last 15 years of these countries. So this is something you turn on the television or the internet, I guess, if any of those things, and you say, oh, that's something that I'm interested in. And then we talk about it because it deals with the world, and you could write about it on the test and get credit for something that's going on in the world right now. Like no other class can be. There's no math current events. There's no science. Well, there's some science current events, but math. This is the current events class. This is, if you like current events, this is where you should go. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Reading is always a key to success, but seriously, as I said before, staying on top of current events is so important. It's just the biggest thing ever. So is it worth it? To me, I like saving money. I like current events. I want to understand the world right now. That's it right there. That's it. And there's a good chance you get a really good score on this. So any questions? Please ask questions. I'm much better at answering the questions than just delivering slides. Any questions? You could type.
Feel free to type them if you want. If you're feeling brave and you just want to ask them, feel free to ask them. One question that I have, Sean, for you is this course, when it's offered in schools, is it usually taught as a semester or as a year-long course?
So it depends on where you are in the country or in the world at that. A lot of times it's paired with AP US Gov, and sometimes it's AP US Gov first semester, AP Comp Gov second semester.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just a elective class that's just a semester, and some teachers like myself are lucky enough to have it for the full year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it really depends on where you're at. Harrison, you said something about AP Human Geography. That's the second best class out there. Seriously, this is the best one. I don't even say that because I teach it. It's just the truth. I hope I'm the same teacher for the. I like what Kate said. I'm gonna take that as writing that down. What's my favorite unit in comparative government? So there's two ways to teach this: thematic, and then there's country by country. I'm of the country by country camp, and if you came in a little late, I love teaching Iran. I love teaching the UK. I love teaching all of them because you pick up something new every year. But Iran is fascinating to me. It's just, it really is. And I usually have a couple different people from Iran come in and talk, both pro-government and pro-resistance in that sense. So Leland, to answer your question, that's what I would say.
So cool. Can you talk a little bit more about the structure of this course and how it's different from other courses? Like instead of moving through learning calc, this is comparative between these different countries. Can you,
Right.
Some students might not have taken a course like that. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I would say most students have probably never taken a politics class. So usually what I say on the first day of class is, I can guarantee you don't know as much as you might think you know, because this has never been taught to you. Now, if you're an outside reader, good for you, you know more. But a lot of this will be really new to you. But because we have the benefit of it being the last 15 years, if you just pay attention to the news, you will be really well, because how many times does China come up? Every day. Russia, every day. Iran, twice a week, or unless it was January, which then we were going to go to war with them. Nigeria doesn't come up as much. Mexico, every day. And the UK, like a special relationship. We talk about these countries regardless of this class all the time. So these are really important things. So what I like to do is I like to say, all right, let's spend this time and just understand as much as possible about these places. You know, the two houses of, House of Commons, House of Lords, and just dig into them and dig in deep to the point where maybe even kids in the UK aren't learning as much about those governments. So Melissa, I don't know if I'm going in order. The structure of the test, that's kind of funny because I don't know if anybody believes the structure of the test today will look like what it looks like in May, just because of everything. So last time it was just FRQs. Those are called free response questions. there's no such thing as an essay really in this class. There's like a persuasive essay, but even the readers tell you not to write an essay that's just like 5 sentences, which I think we can handle. And then it's multiple choice, but there was no multiple choice in the spring. I don't know if there's going to be multiple choice. I think sometime in April they're going to tell us, oh, by the way, we're changing the test. You know.
Oh, your questions are rolling in here. I'll moderate for you.
I can't read that fast.
They're coming in. Let's see. On the AP exam, are students able to use current events as evidence?
Absolutely, 100%. That's where the FRQs, the writing part, that's where the current events come in. They will look at, so I meant to say this before. You go to a college interview and you say you took this class, they are so profoundly more interested in you than if you took AP US Gov, because everybody takes AP US Gov. You're not as elite. You take AP Comp Gov, you're next level. You have their eye right there. So it's about like not how much are you going to get in, but like maybe there's money involved in this. So like that's a big thing. And using the current events is the difference between, you know, if you're a 3-4 person or a 4-5 person or 2-3 person, like that's the difference. Using the current events is key in that.
So keeping up with current events is going to be super important.
And the way I teach through current events. So even if you're not as, you know, committed to it, I am.
Yeah. Is there a specific, we don't require anybody purchase books or anything like that, but if you were to recommend a book for this course or for students studying?
Yeah, there's 2 books. One, this is the O'Neill textbook, and Patrick O'Neill, who writes this book, now I'm at, he sends me emails. He just sent me an email Saturday night sharing his videos that he's sending to his college kids. Now he's sharing them with me and my group. So like, we're close. And then there's another book, and this is so sad that I have these right here. I didn't come prepared for this meeting, but this is who I am. It's under a bunch. I'll get it. It's the I'm not gonna get it. I got it. It's the Wood textbook. This one's $20. You can't go wrong with $20. You take $20 plus the class, $45, $65. You got a 5. You know. Ethel Wood, yeah, that's the name. Yeah, Harrison, good stuff. She's a long. I don't know Harrison. No, I just keep pretending I know him. We couldn't know each other.
You will know Harrison. He's part of the Fiveable team.
He's got to be. He's in Chicago in that picture, or please don't tell me that's New York because that's where I am. So
I think he's in Boston.
But no, it's a picture.
New York.
I was in New York. I'm thinking of a different photo of Harrison.
Well, it just looked like the Willits Tower. You know, what do I know? But that's
from the World Trade Center.
I've heard of it.
I think I saw a raised hand. Joseph, did you want to ask a question?
Yeah, I just had 2 questions for this course. I would say my first question would be, I know last year as a freshman in high school, actually, here in California, my AP Hub teacher, because it was my first AP class, she registered all of the students' traditional learning onto a online College World Classroom, sort of, which allowed us to access the practice tests and quizzes they have on that website. Will we have that classroom, or does Fiveable have their own practice quizzes?
Great question. So we have our own learning management system called Thinkific, and that's where Sean's going to be loading in all of the content for all of you. And then we also have access to all of the practice tests that are available for teachers. There's kind of 2 different categories that College Board has, and there's one category we can use and one category we can't use. So we do have access to one. And then we also have AP exam readers that work for Fiveable. And so they're the actual people who grade the test. And they're actually going to spend time with us this year writing our own questions. But those are going to be the exact types of questions that are asked on the exam, because nobody knows better than them what those questions are like. So we're going to build our own bank as well.
And Joseph, as I said before, I am in contact with I would say 90% of the teachers who teach this class in the world. So, and we have this thing called a shared drive. So they just load stuff in there all the time. So I have access to everything. We
have more than that website, probably.
That's really good. I also have one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
What's your second
appreciated the
question?
spring comment, so I'm not going to say anything.
Okay. Do you recommend with this digital learning, do you recommend a notebook or digital notes?
So when I was in grad school, there was a teacher who said, "Oh, you have to require this notebook," and then continued to say, "But kids learn however they learn. Kids learn in their own special way." I think you learn how you learn. I could teach you how to be a better note taker, but if you're not a note taker to start with, and you learn by listening, and you contextualize everything by listening, that's your way. And I'm not going to try and change your way because it works for you, right? You're here on a Monday night, like that. You got something good going on already. Like I just need to tweak some things to help you, but I'm not going to tell you need to do this. Otherwise, it's not the same thing.
Let me see here. There were a couple more questions that came by. How would you describe your teaching style? That's a good question.
I'm a talker. I talk a lot, apparently. But stories, for not my stories, but other people's stories, and the news is so important. And it's really a conversation. I am interested in having a conversation with 55 people or 125 people by the end of the night, because that's how many are going to sign up. That is how I teach. We have a big conversation. And I provide stuff so that you can read it too if you're not so much into the conversation. But I think by speaking it and hearing it and asking questions, I think that's the best way, to me, that you learn. That's my belief.
Yeah. What are some news sources? You've talked about how keeping up with current events is almost mandatory for this class.
Right.
Do you have some sources you like in particular?
So the BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation, Reuters, really big with that. I think it's tough to go into the U.S. ones because the U.S. ones don't really focus on the world too much. B, they have their own validity issues, and this is not AP US, so we don't have to talk about that. But the BBC and Reuters are the top two, and then you just start following people. China has state-based media. Russia has some state-based media, so you can read those, but then you have to really think like, well, what is the perspective they're taking on with this? So one of the guys that will probably come into my class again this year worked for the CIA, was the head of the CIA in Russia. So, we're friends. So I trust him more than I'll trust, the news-based media for Russia, at least.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
How much of a time commitment would you say this course is per week?
So it depends on where you're starting. If you're starting at a place where you know very little, but you're fascinated by it, it might take you a little bit more time, because the first 4 weeks are vocab that haven't ever come up probably in any of the other AP classes that you took, unless you took AP US history, AP US government. Everything else is brand new. So that might take some time. But when I teach this as a year-long thing, we spend like 4 weeks on the UK. And then by the time we get to Mexico, we're spending like a week and a half, because it's just rolling, because all the vocab, all this stuff. This is not a question you have to ask yourself about single member districts or proportional representation. Like, we kind of that's embedded in you. So if you're starting from from very little knowledge and you have to make it, it's going to take you a little bit longer. But if you're already into this, if you already have background, if you already took AP US government, I think you'll be okay. I think you could do this, in your schedule, however that makes, without having to dig in too deep.
Cool. The last question is about college, and I'm interested in this answer too. What college majors would you recommend to someone who wants to be I don't even know how to say that word, comparativist?
Comparativist.
Yeah.
Poli-sci is the best one, like political science. But communication is probably good with that. I am a sociology major, and so don't go that route. Don't ever major in sociology, because what are you going to do with that? But poli-sci is probably your best one. Law, international law, maybe even a little bit of international business. You can fit all this stuff with that, I think. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. These were great questions. My email again is kate@fiveable.me, and you can sign up for courses at courses.fiveable.me. And the code that one last time that Amanda said you can use for $10 off any course, but especially Comp Gov, because you're at Comp Gov Open House, is O10, OH10. And that's good through this week. So, I just saw one more question come in. Do we need to register on our own to take the exam? Yes. So all you do is reach out to the AP coordinator for your district or your school and let them know that you want to self-study for the exam. And then they'll help you register for the actual exam on exam day. If you think of any other questions as you're making your choices, feel free to shoot me an email. And thank you so much to Sean. This was awesome. Thanks for answering all those awesome questions. And have a great night, everybody. Yep. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Bye.